Everybody. So I was just on another content creator's channel and we had a very heated discussion. They were really talking about FBA versus ADOS and issues that are impacting the Black community politically. And of course, we can talk about the external issues. We can talk about what is happening to us politically, what white supremacy is doing. And that's only one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is what is happening in our own communities. What are we actually doing to ourselves? And so when I brought up the fact that I live in the hood and I am the perpetual victim of crime, basically I was told that I was a sellout. I shouldn't even be bringing it up. There was a lot of deflection and gaslighting, bringing up, well, crime happens in Africa too. And I assumed that this person was assuming that I'm African. I'm not African. I'm actually a descendant of slaves, just like he is. I am an American descendant of slaves. Most of my family came from South Carolina. I don't have any immediate traceable lineage I know I have lineage in Africa, but nothing that I can actually trace. I'm 91% African, but I was born in America. All of my family is from America. So I am not African within at least 6 or 7 or 8 generations. I don't know, but I don't know anybody in my immediate family who's from Africa. I am American. I live in the hood. And the people who are perpetuating the crime against me are not white people. They're not Africans. These are Black Americans. And to say the truth is not to disparage all Black people. And when I asked this question, I asked him, do you live in a hood? And of course, he didn't want to answer that question because he does not live in a hood. And when I finally pushed him on the issue, what he said was, oh, I worked my way to get out the hood. And that is very telling because they don't want to live in a hood. So he sits in the comfort of living in a suburb and he's lecturing me about my language. He's trying to police what I say about my own lived experience. He's trying to tell me that I am not the victim of crime in my own neighborhood. Then he tried to lecture me about the Second Amendment, saying, have you ever thought about getting cameras? Have you ever thought about getting a gun? Of course I own a gun. Of course I have cameras. You don't understand. This is what people are so naive about. They don't understand the way these criminals think. They don't give a fuck about cameras. They don't give a fuck about the fact that you have a gun. If you catch them in the act, fine. I guess if they break into your house, you can defend yourself. But if they're just slashing your water hose, if they're just, I don't know, vandalizing your property, just doing things out of spite. And another thing that he said that these are poverty-related crimes, that these people are just desperate. They're trying to struggle to survive. No, they are not. A lot of times they're doing it out of jealousy. They see that you're doing better than them and they want to pull you down to their level. These people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And what I said to him is, if you think that Black lives matter, then all Black lives have to matter. You don't get to selectively say only Black lives matter when they're the victims of white supremacy. No, all Black lives matter. You don't live in a hood. I have every right to speak about my experience that you do. You want to talk about white supremacy, and that's fine. White supremacy is a legitimate issue that should be addressed, but Black on Black crime is also a legitimate issue, and I have every right to speak on it. What happens in Africa has nothing to do with me. I don't live in Africa. I don't know. Ideally, I would love to repatriate to Africa or something. I don't know. But like I said, I've done content talking about how they don't even see us as being the same as them. They will charge us different prices. They would try to exploit us. So there's that. I don't think there's really any place for us to really be safe and be left alone. And then they were talking about solutions. So I guess I did not really spend enough time talking about my pamphlet. It's not a full book, but the pamphlet that I wrote called the Black State Project, there's a lot of solutions in there. I guess I need to actually go through that pamphlet and talk about the actual solutions, because I don't think people are actually going to take the initiative to read that. But there's a lot of solutions in there. I talk about basically reclaiming a state, gaining sovereignty, having self-determination, sovereignty, controlling our own communities, because we know what the problems are. Those of us who live in the hood, we know exactly what the problems are. We just don't have the power to actually deal with it. So I'm going to be reviewing my pamphlet, The Black State Project, because I know I did not spend enough time on it. And one of the solutions is that once we are able to capture a state, we can actually expel the damn troublemakers. We can actually enact laws to expel or extirpate the repeated offenders, the problem people who don't want to reform, who don't want to contribute to the community. They should be kicked out. They should not be included in this project. And so now we have people coming. I'm pretty much almost done, but yeah, I'm just responding to a discussion I just had on somebody else's channel, basically telling me that I should not speak out against the crime that's happening in my own community, that I'm basically being a sellout. Basically having no regard for the people who actually live in these communities. I said, why don't you ever do anything to protect the women and children who are being victimized? Oh, well, that's happening in Africa too. Yes, but it's not, those victims are not being victimized by people who live in Africa. He was trying to redirect my attention to white supremacy, as if I don't address white supremacy also. That doesn't absolve the Black people who are oppressing their own damn people. And so I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. They are invested in protecting the performative masculinity of the Black male image. That's what it's all about. Protecting heterosexual Black men. It doesn't matter how dangerous they are to the community, how much crime they commit, who they harm. They will even sacrifice their own children and people, their own family members, to protect this fake ass image. It's absolute bullshit, man. And that is I actually did address that in my book, Blaming on Dress, the Manufacture of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity. I talk about how they will do everything to protect the heterosexual Black male, even when they are causing deleterious harm on the community. At the expense, but there's no protection if you are a gay man or if you're a woman. There's no protection for us. But everybody's supposed to get on code and protect the fragile image of the heterosexual Black man, the strong Black man. It's absolutely, it's as if the rest of us don't matter. We're supposed to be sacrificial animals and be victims in silence, because even when we are victims, we're supposed to not say anything. Snitches get stitches. Shut the fuck up. Just be a team player. Take one for the team and just accept it, go on with your life. I would say white supremacy is a problem, but I don't even know what to call this. What do you call it when you're being oppressed by your own people? I guess we need a new term for that. It's more than just Black on Black crime. It's not purely poverty related. They're jealous. They have animus against you just because they see you as being more successful than them. Mind you, based on my educational background, I should be a lot more successful than I currently am. So it's a race to the bottom. You're comparing me to yourself. You did not go to school. You did not put in any work. Why are you don't know anything about me? You have lived a life of crime. You have a criminal record. You can't get a job. So you sit around starting trouble. You're miserable. And because of that, you want other people to be miserable. You're going around causing trouble, not even because you're getting money out of it. Just because you're miserable, it's just for the sake of it. You enjoy making people's lives a living hell. You will vandalize their property, slash their water holes. You will talk shit, harass them. You're homophobic. And I'm supposed to just suffer in silence. I say no to that. It needs to be called out. I guess I need to be doing more content about that, because there's not enough attention being given to that. I'm not going to give you a free pass just because you're black. I'm not doing that. You don't get to victimize me and just say, oh, you need to stay on code and just not say anything about it. No, I'm going to call anybody else who is oppressing me. It is every man for himself. If there is no community and it's you figure out how you're going to navigate through this oppression and you're not going to help liberate any of us, then you're going to be caught out for that shit. I don't, it's always a straight black man who's trying to defend the damn criminals, because I know what it is. They know that their image is tethered to other black men. And so they all get on code. They want you to shut up. You're the problem. They never want to hold themselves accountable. This is not manhood. And by the way, that person who was talking to me was getting extremely emotional about it, being very resting in his femininity. I don't want this to make, this is not a channel where I sit up here and bash black people or black men. This has nothing to do with that. By the way, this person assumed that I was a Republican. I'm not a fucking Republican. I'm an anarchist. I don't give a shit about statism. Because I'm telling the objective truth, I must be a damn Republican. No, you just, I mean, am I supposed to lie? Am I supposed to say that these things are not happening? I'm not the race trader. They're the fucking race traders. When you're oppressing your own damn people, that makes you the fucking race trader. And then they want you to shut up, and somehow you're betraying the whole damn community. Nobody said it was all black people. I said it was, I live in the hood. You don't. Anyway, I guess I'm going to get off here. I will be talking about my pamphlet, the Black State Project, because a lot of people think that there are no solutions. They know that we are a very small minority. We don't have a lot of political power, but we can pull our resources and actually do something about it. And by the way, that person on that panel was saying, oh, this has been tried before. Black Wall Street was demolished. It's basically, it's an appeal to futility. I reject that. There were some strategic failures in Black Wall Street. They did not strategize about providing for their own defense. If they had formed a private militia before they created Black Wall Street, then some of those problems would have never happened. My pamphlet addresses all of that. So I am going to end this live stream, but I know I'm talking about my book, Life Abolitionism, and my philosophy, but I'm going to circle back and I'm going to start talking about Black issues again on this channel, because these issues do need to be addressed. And because I am Black and because I do live in the hood, I have every right to speak on it. Now, like I said, I would not go out into a white dominated space and disparage Black people. Obviously, I would not do that. That would serve no purpose other than to try to elevate myself at the community's expense. But we're talking about in our own spaces. I'm talking to other Black people. Are you telling me I can't be real to other Black people, that you're so damn fragile that I can't tell you what is demonstrably true about your own damn, not even your community, because you don't live in a damn Black community. I do. I live in a fucking hood with Black people. You don't. You have, according to you, you have worked your way to get out of the community, and now you want to talk shit about someone who actually lives in the community. You don't get to do that. You don't have any standing to say shit. It's not your community. You live in the suburbs. You don't want to live among your own people, which is why you got out. And so apparently you think that is the solution for everybody. You don't actually want to fix the problem. You just want to cut tail and run and escape. You just want to make enough money so that you can escape the community and leave the rest of us behind. And we're supposed to shut up. That's not how this shit works. Some of us, well, I mean, I could still be living in a nice suburban area, but I wanted to become a homeowner. So that was the choice that I made. I do have a nice big lawn in the front and in the back. So, and I don't have to deal with these apartments. I don't have to deal with a landlord. So that's the trade-off. I'm a homeowner, but the expense was I had to deal with all these damn criminals, and they're fucking everywhere. And what did he say? He said so much nonsense. It's like when you go on other people's channels, they just spout endlessly. They just rant on and on about nonsense, about things of which they have no knowledge of. about how I just want to be a victim and I haven't tried all the solutions, as if they know my situation better than I do. You don't live in a fucking hood. You don't even know what it's fucking like. Now, I lived in the hood when I was younger, when I was a child. And then most of my life since high school, I have lived in the suburbs. But I guess I sort of lost touch because when you don't live in the hood, you sort of forget about the day-to-day interactions. You forget about how um, overwhelming it is to have to deal with this shit. So their solutions were completely non-responsive to anyone's lived experience. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm trying to remember their solutions. It's like these things are so fucking unrealistic. Oh, that I should have just basically I should have known what I was getting into. I should have known that I was moving into a bad neighborhood. No, when I was looking at houses, it was during the winter time. There were no people outside. It was very quiet. There were no drug dealers outside selling drugs. I did not see any discernible signs of criminal activity. This is not something you would know until after you move. Now you have a fucking mortgage and you're trapped. So what the hell are you supposed to do? And they make it seem so easy. Oh, you can just pick up and move. Clearly, you don't have a damn mortgage. You don't know how that works. You don't get to just pick up and move. If you pick up and move, you would be losing tens of thousands of dollars if you don't have enough equity built up to actually cover the loss. You're going to pay for moving expenses. I mean, I'm assuming that I do have some equity in this house. I've been here for a few years. I don't know how much it is, but I would be losing a whole lot of money. And then I will also have to try to find another house. I don't want to move into another apartment. I don't want to get another landlord. So for me to try to get another mortgage, that's going to be extremely difficult because I would have to in the interim, I would have to have two mortgages. I would have to get somebody to give me a second mortgage until and use that money that I sell that from me selling my current house to get the new house. I don't think that I can get a second mortgage at this point. I think I'm pretty much trapped. Anyway, these people have all these damn solutions. They don't know what the hell you're actually going through. These people have no idea what they're talking about. The bottom line is that they don't give a fuck. They will say Black Lives Matter, but they don't really believe that. They believe that criminal lives matter. They believe that the criminal elements in the community who are terrorizing everybody matter more than those of us. I mean, I don't take pride in being a law-abiding citizen. I don't consider myself a law-abiding citizen. But at the very least, I respect people's natural rights. I don't violate their property. I don't bother anybody. I'm not harassing people. I don't do any of that shit. So I'm not the one terrorizing the community. They are. You don't get to point your finger at me. I'm not the fucking problem. Right. That's the whole thing. I have been a renter for a very long time. The townhouse that I was in, I had lived there for 10 years paying rent. If I had a mortgage, you know how much equity I would have had? I would actually, when I left, I would have money to actually use as a down payment. But that was 10 years down the drain of paying rent, overpriced rent. By the way, rent is going up and up and up. My mortgage is fixed, so that's not going to increase. For those of you who don't have mortgages, you have no control over how much your housing costs are going to be. If they arbitrarily decide that they want to increase your rent, you're fucked. Now, property prices, your property taxes can go up. That's fine, but I mean, that's more incremental. You don't see a dramatic change in that. I mean, I've looked at my property taxes. They haven't increased drastically. I don't want to go back to living in a damn apartment. I don't want to do that. I like having my lawn. I like my gardening. Why do we have to address all the problems except the elephant in the damn room? Why can't we just actually address the fucking criminals and actually put these people in prison where they belong? Why do we have to make excuses? Why do we have to run and hide and move and not talk about it? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to protect these damn people? I would say that you're fucking selling, you're selling out. You're not protecting your fucking community. These people are not a part of your fucking community. Those people are the fucking sellouts. And if you're defending them, then that makes you a fucking sellout. So with that being said, I'm going to end this live stream. I know it's late, so there's not many people here, but I imagine there's not going to be much commentary after this live stream is over, other than to basically tell me I should shut the fuck up and just tolerate being terrorized. Stop fucking the criminal. Stop defending the damn criminals. Defend the people who are actually trying to do something with their lives, who are actually trying to be productive and actually contribute to the community. People who actually want to be property owners, take care of their property, improve the actual community. People who go to work, people who don't bother. Those are the people who need to be defended, not the fucking criminals. So with that, well, the people who are the sellouts are the fucking criminals. The criminals are the sellouts, and those who defend the criminals are the sellouts. So that would be my answer to your question. So with that being said, I'm going to end this live stream. Y'all have a good night.